Alright, so I'm setting up my scope level, and one of the other viewers mentioned recently in the comment section that you can spin the level 180 degrees just to verify that it's good, so you can see what we have currently. I'm going to spin it 180, and it's still reading spot on. And just to double check this new IWI rail, it's spot on. So I know that it's a flat top the entire length, which is awesome. Alright, brand new scope. Let's get this thing opened up. Thanks again to Bushnell for their awesome warranty. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is just basically rest the scope in here. And I don't want anything to happen to it, so I'm going to put the top half of the rings on just so nothing funky happens. When I leveled the rail, I used my old Harris bipod with the KMW clamp, which makes it really easy to get level and stay level and make adjustments. There's enough friction in there where you can twist it a little bit, whatever you got to do. Definitely convenient. These A.R.M.S rings are beasts, 34 millimeter chunky steel. Alright, I just like to always make sure that the gap is split evenly on both sides. Alright, there's enough friction to hold that. That gap is split. Let's split this gap. Alright, that's looking good. Alright. Alright, now what we're going to do is get our eye relief set. Alright. Alright, the eye relief is good. Next job is to hang the plumb bob and get this thing level. Alright, so we're walking up on this gigantic plumb bob. This is what I was looking through the scope, just hanging a heavy target from bungee cord, really simple. You can see daylight right through that. And then here we are, 200 yards away from the firing line. Alright, so now I'm just going to double check that the receiver is level. Alright, the receiver is spot on. Now we're going to rotate that reticle up a little high. That's it right there. So I'm going to snug a couple screws just to make sure that it doesn't walk. And double check it. Let's zoom in. Alright, receiver is good. That's perfect. Good to go. Now as I tighten these, I just want to make sure that I keep good equal gap on both sides of the rings. And I'm just snugging these. I'm not getting real crazy just yet because everything's going to get torqued. I'll put timing marks on everything when it's all done. These A.R.M.S 34 millimeter rings are beasts, so I don't need a whole lot of inch-pounds of torque. So I'm just going to hit these at 15 inch-pounds all the way around. And I always like to do a star pattern. And it's not clicking yet, but I'm just snugging each one a little bit at a time just to make sure. Oh, that clicked. We're getting close. Good. And I'll just go around and around just to make sure that it clicks without rotating. Torquing is cheap insurance. All right, awesome. That's it. All right, so now the scope is good. Everything's level, square to itself. It's all good to go. So I'm just gonna look at my plumb bob out at 200 yards. Okay, so that's still good. So now's the easy part, right? A cheap level. This is a Arca Optics level. They work. You know, you don't have to spend a ton of money on a level. The most important thing is to like be consistent. So as long as you know that bubble's between the lines every time, it's going to be consistent. You know, you want to remove every variable that you can. So many options with these fix-it sticks. You should never use the actual torque part of the fix-it stick to loosen anything because you can destroy it. So that really goes for any torque wrench. Never loosen with any torque wrench because you could damage it and it won't be calibrated and you can't trust it. I've ran Vortex on other guns. This was just the right price at the right time. I'm not brand particular or, you know, it just has to work. All right. Now we're just going to double check it one more time to make sure that the reticle is perfect with that plumb bob. That looks good. Actually, the level's right there. So let's snug this thing down. One last double check. That's good. All right, this is perfect. Let's get back to zeroing. All right, we're on safe. I got some 24 grain blaster ammo just to kind of get this thing close. This looks like it's 70 grain RDFs. Let's not use these. That's for a different gun. There we go. Here's some 24 grain. 77 SMKs. These run a little hot. All right, and I got my Magnetospeed set up just to see what's going on with these. Keep a towel on it just to collect the brass. It's one less thing to go looking for. And I see like a spot of dirt or a rock or something out in the back berm, so I'm just using that as my point of aim. And I'm about a mil low. All right, so now I'm going to do some load development. I'm using two different types of brass. I'm using Lake City Mix and Remington. I'm running Hornady 73 ELDs. They shoot pretty well out of the 16-inch rifle. So OCW method of load development. So same powder, same primers, same bullet. The only difference is going to be the charge weights. So I'm going to set my targets up now. so they're easy to read downrange. So this is going to be LC mix, and my first is going to be so I just make these targets on Excel, just play with the different shapes and stuff. I like shooting at triangles because it's just a lot easier to put the dot on that reticle right there. I'm focused on this one point. Everything is just narrowed down there. Instead of trying to hold the center of a circle or something else, you could be floating anywhere in there, but a point really gets you tight. Aim small, miss small. So this is going to be my 0 target. And since I'm using like a Christmas tree type reticle, I'm going to 0 this at 100 yards. Typically I would shoot at 50 yards. It's just, in my opinion, more usable style of matches that I shoot. But because of this reticle, I'm going to 0 at 100, and the holdovers or the dials it's irrelevant. So, all right, let's go set these targets up. All right, so here's my target. This is basically what I'm going to do. I always hang a little wind indicator, just kind of see what's going on out there. This club, the wind always swirls. So I just want to know what's going on right at the target. But I got my Lake City mix, Remington below that, all my charge weights. I can see everything clearly through the scope, and my 0 target. So I'll shoot at the 0 first, and then go to town, doing the round robin style, shooting one shot at each charge weight, and then repeating until I start seeing some groups, and we'll take it from there.